Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg. I'm Village President Al Larson. In this episode, we'll be joined by Dave Brooks and Vince Kennedy from the Schaumburg Park District. Then we'll talk to Martha Dooley and Martin Metreger from the Village of Schaumburg. We'll close out the program by talking with Karyn Robles from the Transportation Department. All of this and more today here on Speaking of Schaumburg. Spring is here, and so are some great programs to get you moving. Dave Brooks, Manager of Conservation Services for the Schaumburg Park District, and Superintendent of Recreation Vince Kennedy are here to tell us more. Well, tell us how spring has sprung over there at Spring Valley.
Well, it sprung a little earlier this year with the mild winter we've had, and frogs are singing, and
spring peepers.
Well, we have chorus frogs, which a lot of people do refer to them as peepers. It's just,
okay,
but. So that's, the signs of spring are definitely there, but we're getting a little added infusion of visitors that we don't normally get during these chilly days of early spring because of Bison's Bluff, which I know we'll
Bison's Bluff. What, do you have bison out there?
That's the question we're probably going to get more of. People are going to know where the bison are. Well, there's no bison, but there's a new nature playground called Bison's Bluff, and it does have a big sculpted stone bison out there that the kids can climb
there
on.
Is.
So. But that has just opened recently, and it's going gangbusters. People are coming out, even on some of these cloudy days, and it's great to see kids out there playing, and parents kind of engaging with their kids in that nature play too.
And there's enough parking too, right?
Yeah, the parking lot, it was enlarged as part of that construction project, and so far so good. I mean, we haven't had those gorgeous weather days when we might see that parking lot fill to capacity. I'm sure it'll happen.
What do you
at
do
some
then?
Point. We will see how that goes. We typically, for our special events where we expect the parking lot to fill, we arrange for overflow parking for just our typical day of being open to the public. We don't have overflow parking and a shuttle bus arranged for that, but we will be trying to direct people to, they can park over off of Plum Grove Road by the farm. They can park in some of the neighborhoods across Schaumburg Road and cross. That's not a perfect option, especially if they have kids. But I have a feeling we're going to be okay. What we can also do is we can try to move staff cars out of the lot to make room for the public.
Yeah.
Because it's much easier to direct staff to park somewhere else. And
besides having a storied last name there, tell us what your responsibility is.
I'm in charge of the Recreation Department for the Schaumburg Park District, and that's pretty much everything except for the golf course in Spring Valley. So the tennis club, the Community Rec Center, Meineke Rec Center, Bach, Atcher Pool, Shepherd Center. So all the programs indoors and outdoors that are in recreation, and also the Casper program, before and after school program that's at the schools during the school year.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been at Schaumburg Park District 26 years.
Really?
I started doing special events, and then I was the CRC manager, and now I have my current role.
I suspect that there are spring peepers that are peeping away over there at Oak Hollow.
there should be, yeah. I haven't been out there recently, but
I haven't either, even though I back up to it.
The wildflowers should be popping out there pretty soon too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, now, what are some of the unique things you can see at Spring Valley? And I know I'm dwelling on this quite a bit because I worked with Meineke when he was around, and so one of his Spring Valley dreams was to do exactly what you're doing.
Well, right now, I mean, yeah, boy, highlights are going to be the wildflowers when they start coming out. We've already got our early arrivals, but that's what people come for early on. Birds, we get bird watchers that come out there.
Prairie burns too, right?
Yeah, we've already been burning some prairies. We'll be doing a night burn on April 1st. I'm not sure when this is going to air. This will probably be after the fact, but every year we do a night burn program where we explain to people why we use fire on the landscape and how it benefits the native plants and animals, and then they get to sit back and watch. You
get many complaints about that?
We don't, surprisingly. We let people know. We put out notices so they're aware of it, and occasionally people are concerned about, if they have a respiratory problem, that they're concerned about the smoke, and then we will give them advance notice the day before so they can either make sure their windows are closed in their house, or sometimes they'll go shopping or something like that. But for the most part, people are supportive once they learn why we do it.
Now, how many parks do you monitor?
Well, I'm in charge of the buildings, not the parks, so probably 6 or 7, and the outdoor pools and the waterworks indoor pool as well.
It's a popular place, isn't it?
Yeah, things are really jumping. The waterworks like this currently right now it's spring break, so we probably would have 600 or 700 people a day swimming at the indoor pool. You know, and obviously they're playing basketball in our gyms, and it's nice out playing outside.
Who takes care of the grounds if you just take care of the buildings?
Our parks department. So they take care of everything outside the buildings, and we're in charge of everything inside as far as programming. And we've got a lot of events coming up for April and May as well.
Well, tell me about it.
Okay, we've got 4 or 5 different Easter events. We've got bunny visits where a bunny will come to your house and for a photo op. We've got egg decorating event. Our biggest Easter event is the Bunny Bash at the CRC, where it's all.
That sounds, you know, you got to explain that one.
Well, that's indoor and outdoor. We have an egg hunt in Safety Park at the Shepherd Center. That's between CRC and the Shepherd Center Early Childhood Center. Then there's all kinds of activities inside. You get pictures with the bunny and do bunny hop and all kinds of games and activities. So there's and then we've got an underwater egg hunt at the water hunt.
Oh, that's interesting.
At the waterworks, where we put eggs in the pool and kids dive in and collect eggs. So kind of a Easter theme in the pool.
That's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's the underwater egg extravaganza. You got it right.
What did you do before you worked for the Park District?
I worked in Champaign-Urbana. I went to the University of Illinois, and I stayed there. I was the recreation director at a children's home. It was a residential treatment center for kids who were wards of the state. So we did activities with those kids. And then I came up here.
So, U of I, huh? Mm-hmm. Could you get in that school today?
No, there's no chance. It's a very good question. I tell everybody that. Yeah. I was lucky to go 30 years ago, and before they changed the requirements.
Yeah, it became an elite school, didn't it? So what other plans do you have here for Spring Valley?
Well, Spring Valley, I'm glad that Vince mentioned all the recreation department events. Schaumburg Park District has always been known for its community events, just things throughout the year that we offer. And Spring Valley is no exception. We'll have Springtime on the Farm. I didn't mention the Heritage Farm, but that's the other part of Spring Valley that's very, very popular. So the Heritage Farm does Springtime on the Farm at the end of April, which is just a kids' extravaganza of cleaning and planting and watching the horses work and things. So it's a great event, always very popular. And then
what are you doing for seniors? As old folk like me?
Well, they need to bring the grandkids. They need to kind of try to keep up with them while the kids are running around. So we actually do offer other programs for adults as well. The farm offers like farm to table cooking programs. They're kind of wrapping those up for the winter, but we get that's definitely an adult program where adults can come out and learn a little bit about how to make fresh, healthy foods from fresh ingredients. They get on one program they get to take home a dozen farm fresh eggs from the farm, and so that's been very popular.
Who takes care of the farm program?
We have our own staff there. We have a program coordinator, Patty Kennedy Green. No relation to Vince, but
oh sure,
it's just a common Irish name, I guess. So, but she's the program coordinator there. John Keister is our farm operations coordinator, and they've got a support staff that does their programming and helps to maintain both the livestock and the grounds.
But you don't have any bison.
No bison.
You might have to contact Elgin. They have a farm over there.
Yeah, I think Spring Valley needs to enlarge by about 5 times the land before we can put a herd of bison out there. So.
Any coyotes and any deer?
Deer we see, deer periodically. We see more sign of deer. There's both coyotes and deer that people can potentially see out there, but they tend to, in spite of the fact they're the largest wildlife we have, they can be pretty elusive too. So you have to be at the right place at the right time to see them. So.
All right. Well. Welcome to Schaumburg.
All right. All right, thanks.
Thanks for having us, Al.
Good to see you guys.
All right.
With spring here, cleaning and the environment are on everyone's state of mind. Learn more next here on Speaking of Schaumburg. The annual recycling event and environmental fairs occurs every spring. To tell us more is Martha Dooley, Landscape and Sustainability Planner, and Martin Metreger, Logistics Coordinator for the Village of Schaumburg. Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg.
Nice to be here.
Well, tell me why you're here. What is the meaning of life?
The recycling event comes up pretty soon, right, Martin?
It'd be April 22nd. It's a Saturday, of course, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's at a new location. We moved it to the Boomer Stadium. There's a lot of requests to put it in an area that was a little less congested than Schaumburg Road. And then we changed a few things around, so hopefully the flow goes quicker through it, so people won't have to wait as long when they go through the event. We also added an earlier document shred event, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on April 15th. That way, those who only want document shredding can, Schaumburg residents can go to that event early and avoid the mess if they only have document shredding. So, and that hopefully will help eliminate some of the congestion at the event itself too. And we also added another thing at our event. We're going to take vegetable oil at the event. So if people have vegetable oil that they want to recycle, a lot of people get these fryers, and the big fryers are filled with vegetable oil, and then they have to dispose of the oil. So we found a company that will recycle the oil. They actually use the oil to burn in power plants, to power buildings and stuff.
We don't want them pouring that stuff down the manholes.
No, it's a problem for the sewer system, because then you end up with, I think it's called fogs, but fats and oils and grease, and you end up with big clumps that plug up the sewer system. So.
Well, that's exciting.
So the event this year will be down at Boomer's Ballpark, right?
Right. So it's the west parking lot at Boomer Stadium, 1999 South Spring and Scooth Road. So it should be easy to find.
Okay.
Just got to go to the ballpark.
Martha, tell me about sustainability. What does it mean?
Well, sustainability means taking care of the environment today so it's there for future generations to enjoy. So the Village of Schaumburg is very active in it. This year we dedicated a natural landscaped area here on the municipal campus as a monarch way station, which means that it provides milkweed plants for the monarchs that they need to feed off of, and they will only lay their eggs on Asclepias or butterfly weed plants. So we have those plants in the natural landscaping, as well as the other nectar plants that they use later in the year to feed on as they begin their migration back and forth to Mexico. And the monarch butterfly population has decreased substantially in the last 5 to 10 years, almost where the species is getting close to being a threatened or endangered species. Mm-hmm. And so it's incumbent upon people that can to plant natural landscaping that the monarchs use so that we can help to increase the population and also to sustain the population so that that doesn't go away. The monarch butterfly is so commonly known to so many people, and I think we just expect it will always be there. But right now their habitat is being taken up by development, and so every little space that you can plant with natural landscaping will help them.
You do things besides butterflies, though, don't you? Do you have a bluebird trail?
The area that's designated as a monarch way station is south of the municipal hall, and along a creek bed. We also have a bluebird walking trail out there. There are 5 different stations there. Each station has 2 bluebird houses at it. And yeah, we haven't seen any bluebirds in the houses yet, but sometimes it takes a while before they will find a new home and take up residence. So that's out there as well. And not too far away from that is our community bee garden. And this year we took on 2 new beekeepers. We'll have another 3 hives out in the bee garden.
How did they survive the winter? Were they okay this year?
I haven't talked to any of the beekeepers yet, or they haven't told me yet whether or not their bees made it. I haven't been out there yet. I can speak personally from my own hives at home. I lost all of them over the winter. Even though it was a warm winter, we had some pretty big fluctuations in temperature. And so sometimes that will really affect the bees.
How many beehives do you have?
I have 3 at home.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And
how much honey can you get from a healthy beehive?
Last year, my husband and I harvested 93 pounds of honey from our 3 hives.
Wow.
So it was a lot. We still have a little bit left at home, and give it away as gifts and things like that.
What else do you do in your responsibility besides bees and butterflies and
on May 20th,
and bluebirds?
Martin and I are
3 bees.
Yeah. Martin and I are staff liaisons for the environmental committee here at the village, and as part of that, the environmental Committee and the Schaumburg Township District Library host an environmental fair every year in May. So on May 20th, the environmental fair will take place. We have an Eagle Scout candidate coming, and he's going to conduct a workshop on building a bird feeder for 30 people. Registration can take place through the library for that. You do have to register.
Where will it take place?
It'll be at the library.
Okay.
Yeah, from 12 to 3:30.
Okay.
And then we have another fellow coming to talk about natural landscaping and how it sustains pollinators, which would include the monarch bees, things along that line.
How long have you been doing this, Martin?
The recycling event, we started back in 2007, so this is like our 10th year, and we've expanded this event now that we have a fall event as well, and a couple of different things in the fall that we take paint, and it gives people an opportunity to get rid of their paint that sits around the house, But the recycling event itself started, 7 years ago, and it started small, and it's grown ever since, and we've won several awards for it, and we've collected almost 1 million pounds of electronics over the years, if you combine all the years. Last year we collected 126,000 pounds of electronics, 77,000 pounds of TVs alone.
Wow.
So unfortunately there's quite a cost to that, and because of the changes in the laws, now we have to charge our residents a slight fee for recycling televisions itself. So anything up to 21 inches, $25, and larger than 21 inches, $35 a TV. So,
okay. And they know this in advance too, don't they?
Yeah, we did publicize it as such, although, and we did charge in our last fall event for the electronic recycling for the televisions. So we're definitely going to get less people because of this. However, there's not much else for people to do, because no matter where you go, everybody's charging the fee, because otherwise, when you're free and everybody else is charging, then you get swamped.
I can imagine. Martha, how about you? How long have you been doing this?
Well, I was in on the first recycling event with Martin. The environmental fair has been going on for about 5 years now. The other two speakers at the environmental fair this year will be Dave Brooks from the Spring Valley Nature Sanctuary is going to come and talk about songbirds in your backyard. And then we have a gal on the committee who used to work for NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association or something. At any rate, she was a weather forecaster, and she's going to be doing a workshop on different severe weather events and how to look out for them. And then one of the presentations she's going to do is to build a cloud in a 2-liter soda pop bottle. So we think that that'll be really interesting, for the kids, so kids and parents can sign up for that as well through the library.
Okay, well, it's great cooperation between two governments, the Village of Schaumburg and the Schaumburg Township Library.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that. Kind of be able to broaden your base of operations and discussion and education.
Right. Last year we had about 350 people attend the fair, or and we expect that we'll have about the same again this year, or maybe even more. The longer we're in that one location, the more it helps us out. Sure. We used to do an environmental fair back here at the Village Hall, but kept seeing decreased attendance, and we thought, if we partnered with the library, they reach a broader base than just the Village of Schaumburg, and we're really here to educate as many people as we possibly can.
I appreciate your coming and showing us, talking
nice to
about
be here.
And sustainability. And Martin, good to see you again.
Same here as well.
Traveling around the Schaumburg area just got better. Learn more about it next on Speaking of Schaumburg. The Village of Schaumburg's Transportation Department has some new routes to tell us about and updates on tollway projects. Here to talk about this is Karyn Robles, Director of Transportation for the Village of Schaumburg. Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg, Karyn.
Thank you, Mayor. It's nice to be here again.
You were here before?
I was. Transportation's an ever-changing field, so I like to come and give updates from time to time.
I see. Give us some updates.
First, we're excited to be working with PACE to promote some of their new express bus service that's operating on the newly completed Jane Addams I-90 tollway. Those routes were officially started at the end of December, so they've been operating for a number of months now. And
How's ridership?
Ridership is good. It's growing. We're continuing to get the word out. We've certainly benefited from the improvements. Route 600, which serves Schaumburg from the Northwest Transportation Center to the Rosemont CTA stop, which has access to the Blue Line and a number of other bus routes, has seen growing ridership with this new express service. We've also benefited from 4 new routes, which can connect our residents and visitors to Wheeling, Randall Road, and also to the Roselle Metro Station. And we've also implemented with PACE some new local distributor service that help people who are coming to work in Schaumburg get that last mile to their office. So it's hitting some of our main employers here in town.
Are they're taking to the bus? I mean, is it something new for these folks?
It is. It's for people who maybe want to take advantage of some of these I-90 express routes, but then they don't necessarily work within walking distance of the Northwest Transportation Center. And so the new Route 611 will then take those employees to destinations such as Zurich, Motorola, the Convention Center. When Paylocity moves in, they'll have service as well.
Are they going to use it?
We certainly hope so, and that's the feedback we've been getting from the businesses, is that they have a growing number of employees who are interested in using transit to access their jobs.
How about van pooling? Are they promoting that as well?
We are. We're working with PACE to get information out to the employers so that for employees who don't necessarily live along some of the fixed route bus and train services, they can get together with fellow employees from their own company or maybe companies in the vicinity, and they can use van pooling or even just carpooling to save money.
All right, I want a van pool. What do I do?
First thing would be you can contact PACE or go onto their rideshare website and look for other people who have similar commuting patterns and origins and destinations as you, and then you can sign up. If you'd like to be a driver, you take a course, but you get a discount.
Okay, I want to be a driver.
So you'll coordinate with PACE to take a training course, and once you've completed that one-day course, you get set up with your fellow drivers, you get a discounted rate, and you get access to the van to use like at lunch or for some incidental trips as well.
What about weekends?
If it's a traditional van pool, you'd have access to the van. Insurance and gas, maintenance, car washes are all included in your monthly fee.
So you can actually access buses that'll take you wherever you want to go.
Yep, so the van pool, there is a program that if you wanted to take it to and from a metro station, you can certainly do that. But it's a great alternative for people who maybe want to save a little bit of money or don't have access to a vehicle as part of their daily lives.
And might not be able to have a car otherwise.
Exactly.
Or they can just eliminate a car.
Right.
Okay, and that, of course, getting a car off the road is important to people like me.
It is. It's a great option. It certainly for those people who do need to drive their personal vehicles, it's one less car on the road that they're having to deal with.
Well, tell me about some of the transportation options that people have beyond just I-90.
Well, so there's a number of options. In addition to the improvements at I-90, where we've seen both the partial and full interchanges constructed at Roselle and Meacham Roads, we've had improvements along Illinois 390 on the south side of town. Those improvements are continuing to the east and will provide another great form of transportation for our residents. We also, we've mentioned the excellent bus service that we have through PACE in town, but the village also supports a number of transit services. We have a dial-a-ride transportation program.
Where does it take you?
It's curb-to-curb service anywhere in Schaumburg, and they'll also take you to Harper College so that people can have access to the great educational facilities there at Harper. So you just call up 90 minutes in advance of your ride, and our excellent operators will get your trip all scheduled for you.
Well, you do things besides buses and routes. I mean, you have an airport you monitor too, don't you?
We do. We have the Schaumburg Regional Airport located at Irving Park Road. It's a great amenity. We have the news helicopters are based out of the airport. We have a number of flight schools and flying clubs for people who might be interested in getting involved in flying. We also have a number of companies who offer flight training. So if someone wants to become a new pilot, we can certainly offer those services as well. And for those people who like to observe but maybe not participate, Pilot Pete's is a great restaurant where you can watch the planes and helicopters take off and land and enjoy a great meal as well.
They have helicopter schools too, don't they?
They do. So we have a number of helicopter companies. I mentioned the News helicopters, but we also have companies that do lift services for large, like Woodfield Mall regularly has to do lifts to get equipment to the top of their structure.
Right here.
Yep, right here. And we also have, like you said, flight schools. So if someone wants to become a helicopter pilot, they can certainly get that training at the airport.
How long have you been doing this?
Just about 3 years now.
Really? What were you before that? What were you?
I've been with Schaumburg for 3 years. I should clarify. I've been doing this for a little bit longer than that.
Learning to fly, are you?
I'm not learning to fly. I am one of the observers. I certainly enjoy managing the airport. It's something new that I took on when I came to Schaumburg because it's an amenity most communities
There's a
don't
helistop in Schaumburg beyond the airport, isn't there?
There is. It is located just south of Gulf Road, and it's used a little bit less frequently, but it's a great amenity for people who want to use a helicopter as their mode of transportation. We see quite a number of people who are looking to avoid traffic getting in and out of downtown.
Really?
Yes.
Just to eliminate traffic? I think I'll take the helicopter.
Yeah, they usually have the means to do so, but yep, a number of people who have been attending events at the convention center. We've had some politicians in the past that have used it to get to an event. So it's a great amenity and it's well used.
Now, is there a ride-sharing thing in Schaumburg at all? I mean, in terms of people signing up for that to be able to?
We encourage people to do rideshare through PACE because it's a more regional approach to rideshare. So they try and connect people both with carpooling and the van pooling that we mentioned previously. And so rather than have our own rideshare that would be specific to Schaumburg, we thought, why not connect people who may live in neighboring communities but have similar commuting patterns?
Isn't there some kind of a bridge being built? A bridge too far, not too far, at Roselle Road?
There is. We are in the process of designing a new bike and pedestrian bridge that will connect over Central Road along the west side of Roselle, just north of I-90. So that's a connection that's been missing. So that bridge will provide connectivity to the south. There's, with the new bridge that was constructed over I-90, we have facilities there. People will be placed right into the path that's located in the forest preserve there, and they'll be able to access all sorts of amenities, including Harper College to the north.
Where'd you go to school?
Miami of Ohio.
Miami of Ohio?
Yes.
And what was your major?
Public administration and urban and regional planning.
And out of that, you became a transportation guru.
I did. The first job I got offered was transportation planning, and it turns out I really love it.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Mayor.
That'll do it for this episode of Speaking of Schaumburg. Join us next month for an all-new episode. And until then, I'll see you around town.